Welcome to Capitol Hills, where even the paperwork has a punchline. Referral happens.
No one above the law, right?
Ha! Capitol Hills Cop. In theaters now.
So they spent 8 years chanting it like a prayer. Nobody is above the law. They screamed it at Trump rallies. They plastered it on protest signs. They built entire political careers on those 6 words. Tonight, those words are coming back to haunt them like a freight train at full speed because the mortgage fraud dominoes aren't just falling, they're exploding. And the latest name on the DOJ's criminal referral list, it's a bombshell that changes everything. This isn't just corruption. This is a constitutional crisis territory. And what you're about to see will prove the entire house of cards is collapsing. So make sure you guys keep watching. So this isn't about paperwork. This is about the weaponization of justice boomeranging back on the people who launched it. Eric Swalwell, the man who spent years demanding Trump's financial records, who lectured America about transparency while literally sleeping with a Chinese spy, just got caught in a $1.2 million lie. Federal investigators discovered he claimed a D.C. mansion as his primary residence on mortgage documents. But why does this matter? Because if Swalwell doesn't live in California, he can't represent California. It's that simple. The Constitution requires members of Congress to be inhabitants of the state that they represent. And this means every vote he's cast, every committee he's sat on, every investigation he's led could be invalid. We're talking about years of congressional action, potentially null and void. But here's what should terrify every American. If they're this brazen with mortgage applications, like, federal documents that carry criminal penalties, what else are they lying about? Your tax dollars funded these people. Your votes put them in power. And now we're discovering they can't even tell the truth about where they live. The pattern of fraud isn't random. It's systemic. And tonight, the system is finally catching up to them. So speaking of protecting yourself from criminals who steal your identity, just like those politicians stole our trust, patriots need to guard their personal information now more than ever. The biggest email hack in history just exposed 183 million passwords, and identity thieves are using that data to drain bank accounts and destroy credit scores faster than Swalwell can falsify a mortgage application. That's why Virtual Shield is essential. They scan the dark web daily for your leaked information and alert you instantly if criminals target you. Worth up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, 24/7 U.S.-based experts, and protection for your whole family. It's a fortress against fraud. So this Black Friday, get protected for only $4.88 a month at virtualshield.com/next news. Don't let criminals do your finances what these politicians did to their mortgage applications. So I want you guys to wait. It gets way worse. Swalwell's statement responding to the criminal referral, legal analysts are calling it borderline witness intimidation. He's lashing out at investigators, playing the victim, saying, "I'm surprised it took them this long to come after me." That tone could add obstruction charges to the fraud case. And here's the kicker. Public records show no property owned or leased by Swalwell in California. None. Zero. Like nothing. The man's representing California's 14th district apparently doesn't even have an apartment there. He claimed D.C. as his primary residence to get favorable mortgage terms, which means he just admitted under penalty of perjury that he doesn't live in the state that he represents. That's not just fraud. That's a constitutional disqualification. Every vote, every committee appointment, every dollar of his congressional salary could be challenged in courts. So now witnesses Eric Swalwell's mortgage fraud scheme explodes into a constitutional crisis that could end his entire political career. So Fox News broke this criminal referral live on air, and watch as Peter Doocy revealed the devastating details. Swalwell is accused of making false statements on a $1.2 million mortgage application. The same man who demanded Trump's financial records, who pushed for endless investigations, who lectured America about integrity while sleeping with a Chinese spy. Never forget that. He's been lying on federal documents. Take a look.
Breaking just moments ago, Fox can now confirm that California Democrat Congressman Eric Swalwell has been criminally referred to the Department of Justice accused of mortgage fraud. Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy reporting live on this breaking news on Eric Swalwell from the North Lawn. Hey, Peter.
Martha, as I was walking up here to do a hit on a different topic, I got a call from an administration official filling us in that Eric Swalwell, the Democratic California congressman, has indeed been referred to the Justice Department by Bill Pulte, who is the head of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac right now, because he is accused of making false or misleading statements on a mortgage application. We believe that this pertains to a $1.2 million house that Swalwell has in the Washington, D.C. area.
So the criminal referral was confirmed. Bill Pulte at FHFA has a fraudulent documents. The DOJ has them now, guys. But watch how Swalwell responds. Now with denials, but with what sounds like threats. His statement doesn't defend his innocence. It lashes out at investigators. He invokes other names, plays a victim, and uses language that legal experts say could constitute witness intimidation. This could add obstruction charges to his fraud case. Watch this craziness.
Swalwell has already responded. Part of his very long statement says, as the most vocal critic of Donald Trump over the last decade, and as the only person who still has a surviving lawsuit against him, the only thing I am surprised about is that it took him this long to come after me. Like James Comey and John Bolton, Adam Schiff and Lisa Cook, Letitia James, and the dozens more to come, I refuse to live in fear in what was once the freest country in the world. Now, Swalwell has not been charged with anything. This is a criminal referral. Basically, a government agency thinks that they spotted something that is possibly illegal on mortgage documents from Swalwell. The Justice Department will now review these documents to see if a prosecutor believes that charges are worthy in this case, and then we would go from there in the judicial process. Martha.
So he said, I refuse to live in fear. And that's not a defense. That's a concerned man lashing out. Legal experts are calling this textbook obstruction. And when you threaten investigators, when you try to intimidate those exposing your crimes, you're not defending yourself. You're digging your grave deeper. Watch a legal analysis of how Swalwell's own rules should apply to him. Take a look.
What do Letitia James, Adam Schiff, and now Eric Swalwell have in common, other than of course, their hatred for Trump, in fact, that they're all really annoying? Well, they're all accused of mortgage fraud. Well, the hammer of justice might be dropping again. Another one, Swalwell, who's been criminally referred to the DOJ after allegedly making misleading or perhaps false statements on loan documents. According to NBC News, which first broke the story, the referral alleges several $1 million worth of loans and refinancing based on Swalwell declaring his primary residence as Washington. It calls for an investigation into possible mortgage fraud, state and local tax fraud, insurance fraud, as well as other related crimes. Here to discuss, Mike Davis, founder of the Article 3 Project. Mike, Swalwell just went on MSNBC and is now threatening Trump officials. Watch.
When we're in the majority, we will have subpoena power and accountability will happen. So Bill Pulte and any other lawless official who is carrying out these political prosecutions on behalf of Donald Trump, they should familiarize themselves with the Judiciary Committee room because they're going to be spending a lot of time there answering questions.
Just like he familiarized himself with the Chinese spy Fang Fang, right?
And I sure hope everything they did was above board.
They mean to respond to this if they win the House. Your sense about whether these investigations are valid from what you know and worth it in the long run?
Well, I would say this first off with Eric Swalwell. Well, that sounds like obstruction of justice when you are threatening to go after federal investigators for investigating you for a federal crime. So maybe that's another charge that the Justice Department should tack on to his investigation. I also just found this, Laura, this tweet from Eric Swalwell back on March 13, 2019. He said this, and I'll quote you. If you commit fraud in this country, you will be indicted and justice will be served. Plain and simple. No one is above the law. And he wrote, cough, Donald Trump, cough. So I would say this to Eric Swalwell. If you committed mortgage fraud, you will be indicted and justice will be served.
Swalwell is claiming that this is all political. Watch.
These allegations are false, just like the allegations against Adam Schiff are false and Letitia James are false and Lisa Cook are false. And a spoiler alert for you, there will be allegations next week against somebody that'll be false. No, the Justice Department has not said anything just through leaked media reporting. But this is really about Donald Trump going after his political enemies.
Mike, your response to that?
If they're false, then Eric Swalwell has nothing to worry about. If those documents do not provide fraudulent statements to a bank, he has nothing to worry about. It sounds like Bill Pulte, according to Catherine Doyle's reporting at NBC, may disagree with Mr. Swalwell on this point.
Well, in the end, I mean, you watch the ins and outs of all these cases. You know, when judges are involved, some of them can be activists, some play it straight down the line. I mean, these issues tend to be fairly clear-cut. Maybe it's widespread. I have no idea. But it seems to be fairly clear-cut. You ask a question, you get an answer, you got to fill out the form, etc. And there's always the fine print in those forms. You know, you have to attest to the fact that it's accurate. And you got to be accurate. Mike, thank you. Always great to see you. And
So I wanted him to apply his own rule. If the documents aren't fraudulent, then he's going to walk away. But they are, and he knows it. The constitutional implications are staggering. This isn't just mortgage fraud. It's about whether Swalwell has been illegally occupying a congressional seat. Every vote, every committee, every single appointment, every dollar of salary, all are potentially fraudulent. Listen to legal experts explain how threatening investigators just made his situation worse. Take a look.
Eric Swalwell, another mortgage fraud guy. Adam Schiff, Latina James, think they can do what they want. Has to do with his Washington, D.C. home. And let me tell you what's funny about all their statements. Schiff statements, Latina James statements, and Swalwell statements. They don't deny the charge. They don't factually explain why they're not guilty. All they do is attack Trump. If I'm accused of a crime that I'm innocent of, I'm laying out to you why I'm innocent. I might take a shot at my accuser too, but I'm going to lay out the facts.
For every other person in America, when you threaten investigators, that's obstruction. Add that charge to the growing pile. For context, Swalwell joins Adam Schiff and Letitia James, who are already facing their own mortgage fraud investigations. But Swalwell's case is different, like more damaging. While they just face criminal charges, he faces the complete unraveling of his congressional legitimacy. Watch.
The Trump administration is corrupt. No one, not even a president, is above the law.
no one's above the law, except Adam Schiff. The man who spent years obsessed with destroying Trump by any means necessary, pushing 2 impeachments, fueling these nonstop investigations, in peddling the Russia collusion hoax, he's now the one begging for a bailout? Well, Schiff is under federal investigation for mortgage fraud and has now set up a legal defense fund to save his own skin. The hypocrisy meter just hit the red zone.
The department needs to do a wholesale review of the politicization of these cases over the last 4 years. I would request an oversight hearing into the weaponization of Pam Bondi's Justice Department. It could not be more obvious they are using the Justice Department as now an instrument of their political will.
So I think the pattern is pretty clear, but Swalwell's fraud cuts deepest. And it's not just Schiff, it's Letitia James, who built her career attacking Trump's property values. She faces her own criminal referral for falsifying mortgage documents. There's a trend here, guys. I think there's a trend. Let me know in the comments. But again, Swalwell's case is unique. He didn't just lie about money. He lied about his very eligibility to serve. Watch.
Representing our respective states, stand up and enforce the rule of law. The President of these United States is not above the law.
No matter how rich, powerful, or politically connected you are, everyone must play by the same rules.
Please sue him for us.
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the
And now the Trump Justice Department may be a pain in her you-know-what. The Angle has obtained shocking allegations leveled by the Trump administration against New York Attorney General Letitia James. The Federal Housing Finance Agency has sent a criminal referral to the DOJ accusing James of mortgage fraud. In a letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi, Director Bill Pulte says James appears to have falsified records in order to meet certain lending requirements and receive favorable loan terms.
All of these crazy people, they all scream, nobody is above the law. And now that the law is coming for them, they're crying foul. But make no mistake, tonight's story is about Eric Swalwell, whatever. A man who may have accidentally confessed to defrauding 40 million Californians by pretending to live in a state he abandoned. The mortgage fraud is just the evidence. The real crime is stolen representation. So if this investigation taught you something, hit subscribe. My final thought is coming up. So here's a nuclear truth that they don't want you to understand. Swalwell, whatever, didn't just lie in a mortgage application. He accidentally confessed to defrauding the entire American people. By claiming D.C. as his primary residence, he admitted he's not eligible to serve in Congress. Every vote he's cast, every dollar of salary he's collected, every committee he's sat on, all potentially illegal. This isn't just mortgage fraud. This is stolen democracy. A man who doesn't even live in California has been casting votes that affect 40 million Californians and 300 million Americans. And if Swalwell goes down, the dominoes are going to keep falling because he's not the only one with dirty mortgage documents. The house of cards is collapsing, and we're watching it happen in real time. So this is bigger than one crooked politician. This is about a ruling class that thought that they were untouchable. They weaponized the justice system against Trump while committing exact crimes they accused him of. They screamed about democracy while fraudulently occupying seats they weren't qualified to hold. And Swalwell isn't just the only one facing jail time. He's facing the complete unraveling of his illegitimate career, including Fang Fang. Every American should be asking, how many more are lying about where they live? How many more are collecting congressional salaries that they don't deserve? How many more use fake documents to secure multi-million-dollar loans while lecturing us about integrity? So here's a question for you guys. Should members of Congress who lied about their residency be forced to pay back every penny of their salary? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments below. And if you guys want to support real journalism that exposes real corruption, check out our merch shop linked in the description. The truth doesn't come free, folks, but lies are getting expensive for the swamp.